Hey everyone, Grayson the Bard here, and welcome back to day 82 of the Hunt-A-Day. I realized as I was uploading it yesterday that I said 80 instead of 81 yesterday, but, womp womp and all that. Today we are going to be fighting another G-Rank introduction monster. I think at this point there aren't many monsters that are, wholly original to Frontier left. It's all going to be, variants and stuff like that. But we have a couple more that are wholly original, and that is one of the ones we're fighting today, Hugikiki. Hugikiki is a pseudo-wyvern similar to, Nergigante, Tigrex, Barioth, but it takes most of its inspiration in terms of how it fights from Barioth, more so than Nergigante or Tigrex, with a little bit of Nergigante thrown in. So its whole shtick is it is like a pseudo-wyvern, hyena, porcupine asshole in just a real angry spiky boy. And what this thing does is similar to Nergigante in Monster Hunter World, and Hugikiki came out 4 years prior to Nergigante making its appearance. Hugikiki will use its spikes not only to defend itself but also fire them out like projectiles in a move that's very similar to something I have seen Nergigante do. And those spikes also grow back, similar to Nergigante's mechanic, and you can, I believe, break them off and, cause that process to slow. And for the first half of the fight, that's pretty much the main thing that Hugikiki does, is it is a very fast, very jumpy, uses a lot of the pseudo-wyvern pounces. It has the same, wind tornado mechanic that Barioth has, and it incorporates its spikes into those moves. If the spikes that it launches out get in the tornado, then it becomes kind of a whirling blender that is coming at you, and I think that's really neat. When it is in this first phase of its fight, a lot of its moves, when I was fighting it, I was kind of underwhelmed. It did a lot of projectile-based attacks, which I think is cool on a pseudo-wyvern skeleton, because Barioth is the most projectile one, but for the most part they're all very physical, in-your-face attackers. But aside from the spikes, it didn't really do anything too crazy or too fun, and I was just kind of yeah, this thing's neat. It's okay. It's not amazing. It's not awful. And then Phase 2 hit. And Phase 2, Hugikiki uses all of the status ailments available to it, which it has access to poison, paralysis, and sleep. And apparently, I don't know exactly how the etymology, or not the etymology, the biology works, but apparently it has access to all of these, statuses inside itself, and then it, secretes them into its spikes, kind of like a porcupine quills, and then when it fires them out, it has a random chance of being poison, paralysis, or sleep. And it is very easy to get status immunity in Frontier, at least right now that, everything is out and we're kind of at the end game, essentially, of Monster Hunter Frontier in G-Rank. So I didn't have to deal with any of the status ailments, but I can just imagine the utter chaos. Even dealing with, Espinas in Monster Hunter Rise before, getting the status resistance stuff can be a major pain, because the combo of, paralysis, fire, and poison all, ticking down your damage, and you're paralyzed and you can't really do anything about it. I imagine it's a very similar thing with Hugikiki if you do not have status immunity with, being asleep or paralyzed while also poisoned, and you're on top of these spikes that it shot out that are slowly dealing damage to you over time. I can easily see how this fight would snowball, and I do really like that. I think it's really cool. It's just the fight is very much trivialized by status immunity, which makes sense. In Monster Hunter, it's important to build, counter builds for monsters like this, and Hugikiki is a great example of this is a monster who you really want to build to counter. In terms of its aesthetics, I think it's fine. I like the hyena look. I like the more subdued color palette. It's not too in your face. It's not too over the top. Even the spikes, I had seen, a little bit about this monster online, and I'd seen, people ragging on how spiky this guy is. And I don't think he's that bad. Seeing him in motion, and the renders look a lot worse than he does actually in game. And I think that's a big part of it, is a lot of people just look at the renders and are like, oh, that's way too many spikes. But seeing him in game, he's fine. I think he looks cool. I think he looks neat. He's not amazing. He's not awful. He's just fine. Now, is he a monster that I could see returning in Monster Hunter Wilds or in a future game? Absolutely. I think he, the only monsters that I don't think have a chance of returning are the ones that are so, like, unabashedly MMO or so insanely out there that they could not possibly fit in a, like, fantasy ecosystem. And I do not think that is the case with Hujikiki. I think he's fine. I think you can, like, maybe dial down the spikes a little bit, maybe, like, the particle effects showing, like, if it's poison or sleep or paralysis, like, have that, dialed back just a touch, and maybe, like, reduce the size of the spikes a little bit for a mainline game, but I think he would fit normally. He looks like a creature. He looks like an animal. Is he likely to return, though? I don't know. He's hard to say. I could see him flitting around the desert map in Wilds. I could see him in the forest. The Highlands map that he's on that we're fighting him is kind of a combination of, like, forest and desert. So I could see him in both of the maps that I have seen. I think, like, he fits as, like, a very fast, aggressive predator type that we haven't seen much of in the marketing material. Again, the marketing material that I have seen since going spoiler-free. We have not seen much of like, this kind of creature, so he would definitely fill that role. So I'm going to, like, put him, kind of right in the middle. I'm going to say 5 out of 10 for returning in Monster Hunter Wilds. I've hit that point in doing these where it's like, well, I'm just kind of guessing. I'm just kind of spitballing, and I am not expecting a lot of these to actually make it in, even the ones I'm saying, like, 10 out of 10. It's just, like, how much do I think they kind of fit what I have seen of Wild so far. And then for a future game, let's say, like, a 6, a little bit higher, a little bit kind of in the middle. Yeah, 6 feels right. I'm kind of just going off of, like, what feels right when I record these, I'll be honest. All right, that is where I am going to end the ramble for today. Thank you all so much for watching. Please stick around until the end of the fight if you can. Like, comment, and subscribe if you want to. Don't if you don't. And until next time, I'll see you next time.